Welcome to Real Estate for Real People, hosted by Shannon and Tamara Stone. As award-winning real estate professionals, the Stone sisters have spent years helping people navigate the complexities of buying, selling, and investing in real estate. From first-time homebuyers to seasoned investors, Real Estate for Real People is the go-to resource for anyone looking to make smart decisions in the world of real estate. So sit back, relax, and get ready to learn from some of the best in the business.
Welcome back to another episode of Real Estate for Real People. So today we wanted to talk about something that everybody seems to be talking about right now in the media and the news. Even my kids are talking about it, and that's AI, artificial intelligence. A program we use is ChatGPT, but so if you're wondering about what that is, if you are already using it, this might be an episode that you want to tune into. So grab your cup of coffee, sit down, relax. We're just going to have a conversation just about what we see, how we use it in real estate. And I think we can kind of talk to Tamara about just our thoughts on it and I don't know what we're seeing in everyday life. So yeah, it's
fascinating. I know when everybody started talking about ChatGPT, and I think it was beginning of December that, it's a quieter time in the real estate market, and sort of sitting down and fiddling with it. It's wild. It's impressive and it's terrifying at the same time.
And I think it's, what's interesting I find is ChatGPT is one of the platforms that you can use artificial intelligence. Mm-hmm. There are many, but we use ChatGPT, and it's amazing the things that we've done. I mean, one of our agents went on and wanted to redo her bio that's for the website. So she went into ChatGPT and put down sort of a few things about her, and within seconds, this beautiful written bio about her was produced. So, I mean, that's amazing. She went in and, of course, tweaked it, made it her own, but it's just, time saving. So for anything that you're wanting to write, it's really time saving.
Well, it's certainly been helpful for us with some of our real estate listings, and to be able to, you get stuck for words sometimes, and how many times can you use the word beautiful in describing a home? And it's just nice. I mean, again, just as you're saying, Sean, you have to, we've really got to go through and make sure it's the message we're trying to get across. But certainly is a great sort of launch pad for putting together the words that you're trying to get across.
Well, and we've taken a few courses on ChatGPT. When it was first announced, Tamara and I jumped on and thought, okay, how can we utilize this, and what is this all about? And we've taken a few courses on it. And one of the courses that we did was with a fellow, Michael Thorne. And, he went in.
Great guy, and so knowledgeable, and Valerie, yes, the two of them.
And so good, because he went in and looked at our website, looked at our blog articles. Remember that? And he posted some of those articles and then said, what else would people want to be reading about? And ChatGPT just went and created all these different topics. And of course we would write those, but all these different topics that is relevant to what people are searching online, what might be interesting. So it just helps.
Well, and if people have read an article about, insulation in a home, then they might also be interested in, better windows, or, have conversations about all kinds of things about building materials. So it's given us a lot of stuff to work on and put together, certainly.
And Tamara, have you started using it apart from work at all? Or do you use it just kind of for work stuff?
No, I did. I mean, I was the recipient of a really beautiful poem at Christmas time. Lovely poem that my husband put together. It was all written in Shakespearean language. And for those of you who know my husband, Derek, he's not overly prolific with words. So I was a little bit surprised. And it was this beautiful poem. I mean, the word doth was used about 6 times. So that's how I knew it wasn't really Derek doing it. But he wrote this beautiful poem. So I have since done the same back to him, and actually to our kids. So I use it that way. I wrote our mom and dad a little card and had ChatGPT do a beautiful long poem of life in the Stone family. I just have to say,
I haven't gotten a poem from you yet, from ChatGPT. So, okay.
I'll talk to
Brett. From you. You've given one to mom and dad. You've given one to your husband.
Okay, geez, I'll get on that today. I'll start now. Tell me about you, because you're using it for recipes.
Yeah, I use it for a ton of stuff. So you can go onto it, and again, as we said, there's lots of different platforms you can use. ChatGPT is one that we've signed up for and use, and it's incredible. So you can go on there and look in your fridge and say, okay, I've got eggs, milk, some chicken, some celery. Can you create me a recipe with that? And it'll go and come up with a recipe with what ingredients you have.
It's the sound I really like.
Want me to-
Shannon. That's quite good.
I know it doesn't make that sound, but it just does it so quick.
Now, have you played around at all with the photography? And I know that's not ChatGPT, that's some of the other AI programs, but I keep seeing people on social media posting different headshots, and I don't even know how that works. I haven't done that yet, but have you done that?
I haven't yet, and it's a different AI program that you can do, and it's crazy. So it's pictures of you. You go into this program, and it's pictures that it creates that aren't really you, but it looks like you. And what I've also heard is that it's going to be able to take your voice and tie it to that picture. So soon, someone's going to be able to be on camera like we are right now, and you'll think that it's us, but it's actually not. It's all computer generated. They'll talk like us, act like us, but they won't really be us.
Well, and that's the whole thing. I mean, I think artificial intelligence is fascinating and intriguing. And I think it's, like I said right at the beginning, I think it's a bit terrifying as well. I know there was an email that went around, I think Mom sent it, and it just said, don't answer your phone. Don't leave a voicemail, because artificial intelligence is going to start to duplicate our voices and let people think it's us. And I mean, you and I were talking about it, how AI is teaching itself. And, even some of the experts in the field, some of the most techie people in the world, Elon Musk is saying, AI is evolving so rapidly and able to do things, teach itself. And if they're teaching for good, that's wonderful. And if it's teaching itself how to duplicate your voice or do a video that looks like you, it's going to teach itself how to clear out your bank account, not to seem alarmist, but it's a little unsettling, actually.
It is a little unsettling. And yeah, Elon Musk, to that point, said, this is great technology, but we're not ready for it. Like, we don't know the ins and outs of it. We don't know how it's working. And as you said, Tamara, the terrifying thing is it's teaching itself. So one of the things in there, from my understanding, is if you go in and you do a chat and you start a conversation, to make sure that you delete those. So you're going to be starting from the beginning all the time, but at least it's not learning it's on itself if you're deleting those all the time.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's a good tip. So when you go on ChatGPT or any of the platforms, when you're finished writing your poem to your sister, note to self, or what have you, then clear that, delete that.
Right. That's what I've heard. So, and I think that's the thing. All of this is, that's what I've heard. Like, nothing's factual. And I think that's because it's such an unknown. But when it first came out, they said this is the fastest changing new thing that's come out ever, faster than the internet. And it's going to change our world by this time Christmas, like next year, it will look like a completely different world. And we're already seeing it. Just, the fact of, like, even my son yesterday, I was driving him to hockey, and him and one of his friends, and he goes into Snapchat and he's like, oh my gosh, Mom, there's this my AI now that's on Snapchat. And I'm like, okay. And he said,
you can't get rid of it unless you upgrade.
So, he's 13-year-old. He's pretty smart in that. So he looks and goes, I think it maybe it's a virus. And I said, it's not a virus. And his friend sitting next to him was like, well, I don't have it. How come I don't have it on mine yet? And, and Cole's like, my son is like, well, it must be a virus then, because if you don't have it and I have it, it's probably just going around. And I said, well, I don't think it's a virus. It's just AI, but just be careful, because, it's taking all your information, and that's going to be teaching itself too. And you can now, when you're on it. So after playing around with it a bit, he realized it's not a virus. All the kids were talking about it at hockey that day, and everybody's gotten it and excited, but you can invite this my AI to your conversation on Snapchat.
Well, it's there anyway. You can just acknowledge that it's there.
Questions. You can. So when it's, answering all these things. So when he first got it, I said, well, ask it to write an essay for you from a perspective of a grade 7-year-old who loves hockey. Talk about, hockey. So he asked it as we're driving, and it came up with 2 seconds. It came up with this essay, and it was quite long. And I said, well, now ask it to make it only 300 words. And it went and made it 300 words. And, so
and this is the Snapchat, like that every kid is on. I mean, your boys are on, my girls are on. I think there are benefits. I know when I'm stuck trying to write a description on a beautiful character home in the Abbott Street area, and I'm stuck for words, it's really handy having artificial intelligence help come up with some creativity. But it's really frightening when I think that, and we all know, if you've got a loyalty card at your grocery store, if you your credit card. I mean, they, apparently, and I don't know if it's true or not. I've been meaning to ask, our brokerage or what have you, but apparently the coupons that you get, say at Costco. So for those of us who have a Costco membership, and I just got the magazine and got my executive Costco coupons, and I could use almost every one of them. I was like, this is great. Like I buy Tide, all the things that we like to buy. And I thought that's incredible. Of the 20 coupons I got, 18 are things I regularly use, because they know what I regularly use and try and get me back in the store there. And apparently the coupons that you get or somebody else gets are not necessarily the same there. And that's all artificial intelligence that's sort of pulling that data and putting it together, going, okay, well, we know Tamara likes this, so give her more of that, and then lure her into the store to, try and sway her over in this direction. So,
and I think we'll see more and more of that. I mean, is it frightening? Is it, yes, because it's an unknown. We don't know. At the same time, it is going to make our lives easier.
Absolutely.
I mean, it is easier that you get the coupons that you're going to use. It makes more sense. You're not throwing away. That's not wasteful. You're using those coupons that you're getting. And, so I think there are a lot of ways that it's going to simplify life, but there's a lot of ways, what is the school system going to look like is, one of my biggest things.
Yeah, even our girls. I mean, your boys are younger, but our girls are university, for those who are listening and not sure, but they're first year and third year university and have just gone through. Our eldest has got an exam in about an hour, her last one, but they took away essays. So for their programs, my youngest is in science, so she didn't have a lot of essay writing in her program, but our eldest is in economics and no essays for finals, which they normally do. Like they're writing, because they said it just changes too much, and they've done away with open book. Everything was in person and no computers, no phones, nothing with you, because of the ability to skirt the system, cheat the system, I guess. So
Interesting.
It will be interesting, because think of homework, kids going home and writing a paper over the weekend, or, all the stuff we had to do as kids that you're not really doing anymore. Or they won't be able to. They'll have to just evolve. And I guess that's the key that we're all needing to do always. We're constantly evolving.
And I think that's it. I mean, it's even, my son would be doing homework and he'd be like, hey, Siri, what's 343 times 6 divided by this? And I just don't think of using it that way. And Siri's like, oh, that's blah, blah, blah. So they already were using it, just not the same way, I guess. Yeah. And it's one of those things, Tamara. It's even like, I remember we were on Blackberries and we were diehard Blackberry fans.
I remember.
This is going back just a couple years
somewhere.
So, but I remember then when Apple came out and it was the new thing, and you and I said, we better jump on this. This is like totally unknown. Yes. Seems really weird. It's going to be hard to learn, but if we don't, we're going to be behind. So we jumped on it right away.
And that makes me think of Dad. Like, our dad is in his 70s, we'll say, in case you're listening, Dad, which he does listen to these. But I think our dad has sort of set the example for us, because he does that, Shan. You're exactly right. I mean, Dad's got the latest and greatest. He has a newer phone than I do. He's got his AirPods. He has the latest Apple Watch. He's right in there with ChatGPT, because it's a great point, Shan, that we have to accept the reality and understand things are changing and stay informed, or you do risk falling way behind. And then it would be so daunting to try and catch up.
I think that's the key. And I think you just have to jump in. And for realtors, there's a lot of great perks about AI that will, help make our jobs easier, give us time to do other things. I think at the end of the day, it doesn't take away from that, belly to belly contact. I mean, we're in that business. And so I think it's important to make sure that we do that even more so. And hopefully with artificial intelligence, with AI, it'll just give us time to do that more and more.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that's a great point. I mean, the technology has been wonderful. I mean, we certainly used it a ton through COVID, and we did everything on Zoom. We did virtual showings. We kind of got away. It enabled our industry and many others to step away from people, step further back. And I think it's so, so important to use the extra time you have. It's not going to take me an hour to come up with creative writing for a listing. It might be really smart to spend that hour talking to 2 or 3 clients, checking in, seeing how they're doing, having that emotional connection, because that is something that won't be able to be replaced in to me in any sense of it. I sure
agree.
hope not.
I know. Yes, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, we'll see, I guess, what the next 6 months. I do think that we're going to see things looking differently. If you're not using AI in some capacity, I mean, we all are without us even being aware, but if we're not with these new apps that are coming out, I think the biggest advice I would have is jump in, start researching, and
write a poem for your significant other or sister.
Yeah, your sister. Hello. And if anybody else listening wants to write me a poem, you can do that too.
So,
well, that's great.
We'd love, if anyone wants to make a comment or give us some information about how you're using it. I think this really is a hot topic. It's something that you and I, Shan, talk about a lot on and off the air. And it'll be interesting to see where we're at even in 2 more months.
Well, I think we should come back on, maybe in October, November, and talk about, okay, where are we today with AI and what's changed? Because I think this is a fast moving train, I guess, that's taking off, and you got to kind of jump on it, I think.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you everybody for listening. That's Real Estate for Real People. As always, if you have any questions about the real estate market or artificial intelligence, talk to Shannon. She's more of the pro, but we're always here and would love to help.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Real Estate for Real People. If you want to reach out to the Stone Sisters, visit www.stonesisters.com. This podcast was produced by Podigy Podcasts. See you next time.